Texan Global School. Axioms and operations with real numbers. Division. In this class, we will use the axioms seen to analyze divisions and fractions. The division of two numbers is the product of a real number a with the multiplicative inverse or reciprocal of another real number, in this case, denoted as b to the minus 1, or 1 over b. If we divide two real numbers a and b, results c, which also belongs to the set of real numbers. There are several ways to represent divisions arithmetically. In the first representation, we can see that a is known as a dividend and b is known as a divisor. The result c is called the quotient. However, a division is also a fraction, a over b. In this representation, a is also known as the numerator and b is the denominator. C is the quotient or result of the fraction. Now, according to the axiom of existence and uniqueness of the multiplicative inverse, or reciprocal, we can see that the division starts from a multiplication, where a equals the product of b times c. Let's look at a first example. Two friends have 6 apples. How many apples will each boy get? It is important to draw a visual model to represent the problem. As we can see, we have 6 apples, which we will distribute among 2 boys. An apple for one, another apple for another child. When separating the apples, we can see that each one gets 3 apples. Arithmetically, this is represented as 6 divided by 2. We can see the representations seen in the theory applied in this problem. As a fraction, it is 6 halves or 6 divided by 2. 6 apples, between 2 boys, which is equivalent to 3 apples for each of the 2 boys. One way to verify our result is by using multiplication. We obtained that 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. Let us remember that division starts from multiplication. So, 6 apples divided among 2 children equals 3, so we can see that 6 equals 2 times 3. That is, if 2 children have 3 apples each, between the 2 of them, they will have 6 apples. This leads us to conclude that our result is correct. In the first representation, we can see that 6 is the dividend, 2 is the divisor, and 3 is the quotient. As a fraction, 6 is the numerator, 2 is the denominator, and 3 is the fraction's quotient, or result. A fraction can also be represented as a division using this other division symbol named galley. In this process, 6 goes inside the galley since it is the dividend. 2 goes outside since it is the divisor. We then look for a number that multiplied by 2 results in 6. In this case, it is 3. This number is the quotient and is placed on top of the galley over the dividend. We then multiply the divisor by the quotient. Thus, we multiply 2 times 3. This 2 times 3 result is placed under the dividend and subtracted. In this case, we get 0. This number is called a remainder. Let's look at another example. 3 girls have 12 puppies. How many puppies will each girl get? Again, it is important to draw a visual model to represent the problem. As we can see, we have 12 puppies, which will be distributed among 3 girls. We will distribute one by one so that they have the same amount. When separating the puppies, we can see that each one gets 4. Arithmetically, this is represented as 12 divided by 3. We can see the representations seen in the theory applied in this problem. As a fraction, it is 12 thirds or 12 over 3. 12 little dogs, among 3 girls, which is equivalent to 4 puppies for each of the 3 girls. Verifying our result using multiplication. We have that 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Let us remember that the division starts from a multiplication. So, 12 puppies divided by 3 girls equals 4, then, we can see that 12 equals 3 times 4. That is, if 3 girls have 4 puppies each, between the 3, they will have 12 puppies. Which leads us to conclude that our result is correct. We can see that in the first representation, 12 is the dividend, 3 is the divisor, and 4 is the quotient. As a fraction, 12 is the numerator, 3 is the denominator, and 4 is the quotient, or the result of the fraction. As we saw earlier, a fraction can also be represented as a division using the galley. In this process, 12 goes inside the galley since it is the dividend. 3 goes outside since it is the divisor. We then look for a number that multiplied by 3 results 12. In this case it is 4. This number is the quotient and is placed on top of the galley above the dividend. We then multiply the divisor by the quotient. Thus, we multiply 3 times 4. This 3 times 4 result is placed under the dividend and subtracted. In this case we get 0. This number is called a remainder. Texan Global School. Global online learning. Knowledge for the world. www.texanglobalschool.com